Welcome to the Townsend Conservation Commission meeting. It is Wednesday, March 9th, 2022. The time is 7:03. The meeting is now open under the Wetlands Protection Act and the Townsend Wetland Bylaw. We'll start with roll call. Ann LeQueer.
Present.
Jim LeQueer.
He's present. He just walked out to let the puppy out.
I will take your word for it. Joan Savoy.
But you want present, but you want to know we're present via Zoom.
Okay.
Right. Present in person.
Jennifer Eaton is present, and James Gates is not present, but will be joining us shortly. Okay. This meeting is being video recorded. Is anyone else recording? Nope.
Hello, I'm here.
Okay. Chairman's additions and deletions. I would like to make a motion to delete 3.3, review of highway department standard operating procedures for winter snow removal and salting. Can I get a motion to delete 3.3?
I make a motion to delete 3.3.
A second.
Okay. Joan Savoy, are you in favor?
Yes.
Jim LeQueer, are you in favor?
Yes.
Ann LeQueer, are you in favor?
Yes.
And Jennifer, yes, in favor. And Joan Savoy, are you in favor?
Yes.
Okay. That is on. Is that all in favor with one? It's all in favor for whoever's here. Okay, great. So we have no meeting. We don't have the 224. We don't have the 224-22 minutes as of yet.
Yeah, because it got posted late last night. I didn't have time today to finish them, but I'll be sure to make sure it's done by next meeting.
Matt, that's fine. Thank you. We have a month, so we're good.
Okay.
Thank you, but
Okay.
thank you. We understand.
Chair's report. All right, so I have an announcement. The following format for hearings and agenda items will now be effective immediately. After the topic is opened and the information is presented, whether it's by Jessica or it's by a representative for the applicant, we'll go around and each commissioner will have an opportunity to comment or question and then proceed to public comment section. That's how we're going to do things because it's a bit more organized, and anyone who's done the meeting minutes can tell you it's a lot easier to transcribe it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Now, agents.
Do you want me to mention this?
No, actually, Jim LeQueer, I have something for you. When we have something, a hearing that has been voted on for Board of Health. We have an item on our agenda tonight that has been approved. The septic's been approved for the Board of Health, and it's the 82 Ball Road. Did you vote on that?
82 Ball. I missed the last meeting. I was actually down for the count with Ann. She had a problem. I couldn't be there, so I'm not sure.
No, it wasn't the last meeting. This was for the Board of Health.
For the Board of Health. I was not at the last meeting. They might have brought that up.
It wasn't at the last meeting. I just was wondering if you remember voting either way on that.
Too specific. I think we need to go general. May I speak, Madam Chair?
Yes, we'll let Joan speak.
Jim, this is a concern somebody brought to us today. And when we get to the 82 Ball Road hearing, we'll see if that septic has indeed been approved. But since you're on the Board of Health and you vote, someone said, well, Jim is voting as a Board of Health member, and then he comes and votes on the same plans as a Concom member. And so there is a query out to the Secretary of State of whether or not you may have to recuse yourself. Is what somebody asked us to check on.
Okay, I am an elected official on the Board of Health. I'm an appointed official on conservation, and I can vote on both Commission and Board of Health.
Right, thank you. Well, someone did ask us to check with the Secretary of State, so we are checking on that, but thank you. Just wanted you to know.
It's been that way in Townsend for years. You can be on 2 different boards and you're 100% active on both boards.
Okay. So I'm going to read Jessica's agent report. She's at a class tonight doing MACC fundamentals. So there have been no building permit sign-offs for conservation in the last 2 weeks. Completed the 32 Main Street referral for planning board, the 82 Ball Road septic sign-off. She's still drafting the ongoing draft rewording ongoing to wetlands bylaw.
I'm confused. Why does Jessica have anything to do with the septic sign-off for 82 Ball Road?
Indicated NOI already in review. This is, she's not here to ask, so I will question mark next to that. Conservation owned land, 4 site visits completed to date. NOI for 63 Adams Road was mailed out March 2, order of conditions. 45 Warren Road tree cutting was mailed out on March 2nd, and she's currently reviewing order of conditions and completed order of conditions from the past 3 years. There's a site visit to 46 Emery Road for tree cutting for safety concerns. That's also Townsend Rod and Gun Club. And there was a site visit also for the rail trail request to amend the order of conditions. Applicant is Squanicook Greenways. And visit to 1 Brown Road for wetland buffer review and proposed site improvements. Okay, so that is the agent report.
These 2 licenses here.
James Gates is here.
James Gates present at 7:10. Okay. Okay, we have 7:10. Nice. Okay, we have a continuation of notice intent, DEP 308-689 and TWB 2022-119. Applicant is Jeremiah Kimball. The location is 82 Ball Road. The proposed project is the construction of a single-family house with detached barn, private well, driveway, septic system, and related grading. This construction will take place within a 100-foot buffer of a bordering vegetated wetland. Okay. So we'll start with James. I just announced in my chair's report that we have a new format. When we present an agenda item, we're going to go around and each person will have a turn to comment or question, and then we'll turn it to public comments. So we'll start with you.
And based on
John Hussey.
Oh, no, I was just explaining to him what he missed in the chair's report. So, yes.
Based on comment, feedback from either the applicant and the public, we'll be able to comment again.
Yes, after everyone has, yes, but it's after either Jessica or the representative, which is Chris McKenzie in this case.
Yep.
We'll start. Hi, Chris.
I have to ask them if they can sign in virtually. If you can sign them in on there.
Okay, can I sign, Jeremiah and Chris, can I sign you in virtually to the meeting?
Sure.
You may.
Okay.
Yes, please.
I have your permission. Okay, Chris, you have the floor.
Sure. I don't know if I should address the couple of things that you brought up in your comments earlier. I'm not aware that the Board of Health has approved the septic design yet.
Okay.
The most recent plan that was submitted to your office was also just recently submitted to the Board of Health, which I believe was on Friday. So I don't know if they could have approved it by now. So I don't think that's happened, but I could be wrong. I wouldn't have to be present for that to happen because we're not asking for any special approvals from them. So I can't tell you for sure whether it has or hasn't, but I'm not aware that it has and would be surprised if it had happened by now.
Okay.
The second item you brought up, part of the submittal to the Board of Health, as I'm sure most of you are aware, is we have to submit a interdepartmental review form to the Board of Health, and the Conservation Commission and the tax office have to sign off on it. So I believe what Jessica has done is signed off on that form based on the fact that we have submitted a filing with you guys. That's my understanding anyways, of those two items.
Great. Thank you for that.
So onto the plan. If you don't mind, I can share the screen and get that visible to everybody.
Use the screen sharing capability.
Hold on, let's see. That one. How's that?
There you go.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
All right. So I'll start down on the southern part of the lot here. Part of our discussion last meeting was the proximity of the barn to the wetlands. We were offset from it 50 or 51 feet. Mr. Kimball stated that he wanted a slightly smaller barn, so we went with 42 by 50, which is about a 2,100 square foot footprint, and that is now 60 feet from the wetlands. So we really just took the 10 feet right off the end of it. One of the additional comments was about the size or the stories, the heights of the buildings. Both the barn and the house are proposed to be one-story buildings. The house footprint, including the garage area, is about a little over 2,600 square feet. Additionally, there was a comment regarding the erosion controls. We show area over here with silt fence. And,
excuse me, Mr. McKenzie, can you hang on one second? Ann, can you mute yourself? Do you mind? Because we're hearing your conversation.
We were looking for plans, Joan. We're not going to be speaking.
Okay, thanks.
Go ahead, Chris. Sorry about that.
So we changed the siltation, the erosion control barrier to show the filter fence, the silt fence, and the straw wattles, both combined along that whole area, which runs around the entire perimeter of the property of the work area. And I would make a statement on that too. It's typically understood that the erosion control barrier is a limit of work, but it will also, in this case, represent the limit of interference as well. So obviously they can't go beyond that line anyways with any work. So there won't be any tree clearing beyond that. The woods that are out there are kind of all over the place. There's clearings and there's wooded areas and stuff. So that'll always get cleared up. Most of it needs to be removed in order to do the construction anyways. And I think that covers most of the comments. If you saw, the DEP did issue their file number, and the only comment again that they had was about the proposed edge of woods or tree line. And as I stated, that'll follow along the erosion control barrier. Certainly can open it up to some questions. Oh, and as I think I already stated, the plan was revised for a few things that the Board of Health had, but they were all kind of minor.
Okay. Thanks, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Joan, Kimball want to speak?
Does the applicant, Mr. Kimball, want to speak? Does he have anything to add?
No, I think Chris did a wonderful job. Thank you.
Okay, so Joan, why don't you start?
Thanks. So, Chris, thank you. So, I would just like to state what we didn't say at the last meeting, that this entire project, except for, is in the ACEC, which is the area of critical environmental concern, which does have special considerations from the state. That said, I thought, and you'll have to pardon me if my memory is wrong, but I thought it was noted at the last meeting that the BOH had signed off on the septic, which it wasn't. All right. I thought I heard that. Okay, so all right, so here's my concern. And the garage is to be used for storing, the barn to be used to be stored for storing antique cars. And what is the closest distance, please, Chris, from the well field to the septic and the barn?
From the well, from the proposed well?
The well to the barn.
The well to the barn is probably about 150 feet.
Okay, and that's is that down gradient, or it's more about the same gradient?
It might be slightly down, but not by maybe more than 4 or 5 feet.
Yeah, okay. So,
Chris, it's about 7 feet.
7 feet.
Just gonna do one person.
Well, no, but I appreciate that.
Very cool.
No, that's cool. All right, so we do appreciate the fact that the barn's been smalled up, but so this is the problem I have. So you're up, the whole project is except the septic is within the 100-foot buffer. The wetlands are down gradient of all of this. You've got antique cars being stored in that barn. I'm requesting, Madam Chair, that an order of conditions, if we approve for tonight, states that there's an impermeable floor in the barn with a sump with an oil filter on it and a filtration trench, because I'm personally very concerned that since you are in the ACEC, you're up gradient of your own well and you're up gradient of all that the wetlands in the back there, that those three things happen. Also, tree clearing. Did we discuss tree clearing previously?
No, but
yeah.
One of the work is the silt fence.
So what kind of trees how many trees are we talking about?
I don't have a count on the trees. We haven't counted the trees out there. They're fairly sparsely located out there. There's not a ton of them. The woods are not thick, particularly in the area of the house and the barn. There's almost no trees in the barn area. There's a few evergreens right along one side of it. And primarily the house is in the already cleared area. So most of the tree clearing is going to occur around the septic system and the driveway area, which are mostly out of the buffer zone. There'll be some tree clearing down in this area to allow for the well to be tied in, and then whatever, a few trees along here. You can see it's hard to see, I know, but there is an existing tree line that runs like this. So you're talking a few trees here, a few trees here, and then these are over in this area that are in the buffer zone.
All right, Matt, you were on the site walk. Jen and I were on the site walk. I don't recall any discussion of tree clearing on the site walk. And we are in the ACEC, and so that is something.
We did discuss the tree clearing when we were all down walking around down here. We spoke very much about that. We stood right up on this hill and we talked. There's a large tree that was right down in here that has to come down, and there were a couple over here, but that was really it as far as any size.
All right, Matt, do you have recollection of the tree?
Yeah.
Can you tell me what you recall, please? Thanks.
It was freezing.
We talked. I do remember talking briefly about the trees that were going to be cut down, and like he was saying, it was pretty sparse, the amount of trees that you'd have to cut down. There wouldn't be many. I don't remember if Jessica said that he had to submit anything based on that. I don't think she did. So I'm not too sure.
There was no discussion of mitigation?
I don't believe so, no.
There was no talk of a tree cutting plan?
That I don't recall. I don't think so.
Well, it's the area of work. The clearing limit is the silt fence, like Chris said. So
Right.
that's everything up to the silt fence will be cleared, I assume, minus maybe a good tree here or there that they'll determine in the field.
Right. The amount of construction for building the house, installing the well, the water line, the septic system, the barn, and the septic tank, the amount of disturbance to the ground around those areas is, the trees aren't going to survive that. So they really have to come down. The only area where we could maybe limit the amount of trees would be right in this area between the well and the driveway, and this area here between the water line and the buffer zone. You could probably limit some tree cutting in that area because the disturbance is going to be limited. You know, you got to get a truck in here, of course, to drill the well. So you'll need access, but you also need a trench back for the water line. So you're probably going to need to do a 10-foot anyways wide section to get to the well over here.
But
again, there weren't very many trees here and they're not very large.
Yeah, I do remember them as being kind of thin trees, right?
Right. And actually, if I don't know if Matt remembers, I'm sure Mr. Kimball remembers when we were out there, the power company came out and asked Mr. Kimball for permission to prune some of the trees along the side of the road here because they're interfering in the power lines.
They did, yeah. Several of the trees were dead too, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, the pines, so.
Like to note, a lot of this is been opened up, and particularly where the barn and right up to the edge of the second septic system is actually lawn. It's part of my field at the 84 Ball Road where I currently live. So I mow right up into that area as of right now.
Okay, thank you. All right, James, do you want to go next?
Yeah. Chris added the silt fence. That's one of the things. One of the things I want to see is, because this is such a tight site, is where the soil or the spoil pile's going to be.
I can answer that one for you if you'd like. That would be the property next door at the 84 is my residence. So a lot of the material, equipment, and any staging will be in the large 3-acre lawn in that lower section down into that whole area.
So if that's the case, is there? I'd like to see silt fence around it, especially if it's just to be safe. You know, and it's best management practices, especially in that close to the wetlands. You know, so I don't know if Chris needs to put that as a note. I would say yes, so that it's on the plan. And then I would put in the order conditions that it needs to be looked at or you know, checked on periodically. Chris, what's the elevation of the concrete floor for the barn? Do you know?
I don't have a proposed one on here, but it would probably be around 562.5 or so.
Is it going to be have any sort of pitch or level portion inside the floor? Or I know that's usually an architect.
Yeah, I defer to the owner for that, to Mr. Kimball. I don't know much about what's going on inside the barn.
I'd probably be pitched more or less towards the driveway.
And you plan on doing concrete floor?
Yes,
obviously.
correct. Yep.
Do you mind scrolling up, Chris, please?
Sure.
So the only other question I have is the driveway for the barn. Not to make it go back down, but the driveway to the barn, do you plan on paving that, or is that going to be gravel?
Not really sure. That will probably cost will be, I think, thought about at that point. Is there a preference that you're looking for on that, or?
I don't, but you know, with pavement, you got to the runoff and the stormwater, it has to be paid attention to. But you know, I don't really have a preference. Mm-hmm. Yeah, regrind or gravel. Regrind or gravel. You know, it's permeable.
The way the site's set up, the driveway, if it's coming in here, the downward hill slope is coming this way to a swale that comes this way and goes down into here. So any stuff coming off of the driveway should all go in that direction and not go towards the wetlands.
Okay, so one of the things I'd like to see is that swale done and stabilized prior to anything else really happening.
Well, what?
The swale that you're talking about?
It's not a swale. I mean, it's a ground. This ground here is set to direct the water in this direction. It'll swale here along the.
Can I take that back? I take that back. Okay, because I'll take that back because you said swale, so to me, I'm thinking drainage swale.
Yeah,
so
I think that was a figure of speech.
It's going to be.
Yeah.
No.
Jim LeQueer, would you like to go next?
I've been paying attention to everything here. I think some of these situations are a little bit out of what we're supposed to be doing for this scenario. I see the septic system. I believe there's a set of drawings on the way down here for me because I think that's going on Monday night's agenda. But as far as the tree cutting and stuff like that, that's a common practice for the building of properties, et cetera. And when you disturb the roots, you're going to ruin the trees. So some of those things are just the natural thing that has to happen. I don't think we should be influencing any situations with the tree cutting. I think that's fine. In the application of the driveway, that would be up to the building department more so than us, except for the fact that we don't want the water running directly across any place. It'd be nice to have some even drainage. And if it's all going to be grass, it's going to take care of itself anyway, in my opinion. So I think we got to stick to the conservation rules and restrictions and focus on that more so than the location of the well, which is basically out of our jurisdiction.
Okay, and do you have, would you like to?
No, James Gates asked the questions that I was concerned with. I got those answers, and James LeQueer brought up the points that I was concerned with. So I'm okay with everything.
Madam Chair, can I ask Jim LeQueer a question?
Then we'll go back to Joan. Go ahead.
Hey, Jim, so help me out, please, because you've been on, you and Ann have been on the board the longest here. I'm a little confused because my personal building project, which was outside of the 100-foot, the Conservation Commission dictated which trees we could take down. They were specified, and we were told we had to do mitigation.
If I recall right, you had a pond there also you were working in conjunction with. You didn't have a clean sweep there, so there was some concern for that. We did a good job on your property.
But we were told which trees, selective cutting and such. So that's why I'm just concerned. So I'm confused because you're saying we shouldn't influence tree cutting, but we were certainly told about which trees.
I think the situation is pertaining to you is a lot different than the situation pertaining to this site.
Yeah,
the
house is what, 20 feet off the silt fence, Chris?
Yeah, about that. In the back over here, it's probably just 15 feet even right here.
So that's a tight site. I wouldn't want to work it. But you're going to be touching every point within the silt fence, between the silt fence and Ball Road. The chances of not doing any damage to the trees, hitting the roots, hitting a tree, and so forth is very slim. So, you know, it's not for us to tell them what they have to put back, because I think more planning board, but, you know.
Well, that's interesting, Chris.
Agreed.
Okay.
Yeah, let's focus more on what our responsibilities are here and let's move forward with this project.
Do you have any comments, Madam Chair?
Right now, no. I feel like I'm the last one and all my questions have been answered, except for what conditions are under, do we need to put in, if we're going to vote on this, what conditions are we going to put in?
The ones I've mentioned and the ones James mentioned.
Yes.
So silt fence has already been shown.
Yep.
No, or an additional
the stockpile of material needs to have some sort of protection around it on the downslope side.
Stockpile protected.
On downslope
Silt
side.
fence.
On downslope side.
And I don't, it doesn't need wattle and silt fence, but just silt fence to be safe.
Okay.
Oh, and Chris, you know, the wattles, they have to be trenched and staked, right?
Yeah, we show them that way in the detail here.
Thank you. And then the impermeable garage floor, sump with oil filter, and that's what I'm asking for. And a filtration trench.
The chances of that big of an oil leak, you know, it's going to get catastrophic instance that you're going to have that much oil, you know, coming from a vehicle. I don't think they're going to be changing oil in the garage.
You know, and what they're doing in the garage is not our situation either.
And if there's an instance where there's an oil release, that's out of our jurisdiction. That's DEP. So I don't even. And what do you mean by a sump?
Sump with the oil filter.
Yeah. What?
For a spill.
Where would you put the sump?
In the garage.
Where?
The floor.
In the floor.
The drain.
In the center? I haven't seen it.
Floor drains by state code are not allowed because of gas fumes.
Oh, interesting.
Thanks, Jim.
And that's what I didn't think they would. You could do that. So
No,
All right.
there's a problem with gas fumes and fumes from anything that spills on the floor. You're not allowed to put drains in garage floors unless it's a commercial application.
All right, that's helpful. Thank you.
All right. So
Scratch that.
Okay, so now we have the silt fence, stockpile, and the downslope. You mentioned check done periodically. Is that something that we want to?
Yeah. Well, at the agent's discretion.
Agent's discretion.
I mean, the agent would never come without notifying you first, Mr. Kimball. Please know that.
Understood?
And if I may, wouldn't that silt fence, wouldn't that be just until the project is completed? It would no longer be there when all the construction and work is completed on the property.
yes, it would get removed.
Yeah.
The time for an agent to go on that property would be after a torrential rain or something that would cause concern. Other than that, there's no real reason to go look at that silt fence.
Jim hit the nail on the head.
Well, actually, though, the agent does have a pre, during, and post-construction.
That's standard.
Right.
Yeah,
So that's
standard. Yeah.
procedure.
And yeah,
And that's
even,
a formality to make sure that if the silt fence was damaged, it was properly repaired.
yeah. So, and if you want to go one step ahead, do filter sock instead of wattle, and they can cut it open at the end and let the wood chips just be its own buffer. If we want to get that crazy, but I don't see anything.
Nope, I don't see it either.
I don't either.
And any conditions as far as tree cutting?
I don't.
No,
No.
I'm just confused because we were.
Trees have to be dressed accordingly by the contractor and the owner.
We're given.
Thanks, Jim.
Our tree cutting, so I'm confused. You have to cut them.
Okay. Okay.
It's like they can't.
Yeah. No, I understand that.
Okay. So we have
So
the conditions of,
the additional conditions, please, above and beyond the standard order of conditions.
we're asking for the silt fence and protected stockpile on downslope is what I have.
And we need to say the property it's going to be on. I just
Location of the stockpile and
Stockpile is going to be at, what's the address next? It's going to be in the
What's
abutting.
the address?
84 Ball. Can you go with your
location of
mother?
the stockpile at 84 Ball Road
Okay.
is one.
And Chris, if
Show
you
it on
could
the
just
plan.
do a Google map overlay of it, just so that, just put a hatch area so that the contractor can follow it. I'm not trying to get too caught up in the weeds, but
And two would be a silt fence on the downside of the stockpile.
well, that would be the same thing. What else?
Well, one first was the location,
it.
second is the silt fence. That's it?
That's it, because we're 10 minutes behind.
That's it. Okay.
I motion to approve DEP number 308689 with the additional order conditions of silt fence on the downslope side of the stockpiled material at 84 Ball Road.
Seconded.
Okay. Joan Savoy, are you in favor?
Yes.
James Gates, are you in favor?
Yes.
Jim LaQueer, are you in favor?
Yes.
Ann LaQueer, are you in favor?
Yes.
And Jennifer Eaton, yes, in favor. So that is unanimous. Okay, great. So we'll close the hearing.
You motion for that? Or?
Yeah.
I need a motion to close the
So I
hearing.
motion to close the hearing for 82 Ball Road.
Second.
Okay. James Gates, are you in favor of closing the hearing?
Yes.
Jim LaQueer,
Yes.
Yes.
Ann LaQueer,
Yes.
Joan Savoy,
Yes.
Jennifer Eaton, yes. So that is unanimously. We close the hearing and
Thank you, gentlemen.
thank you very much. And Jessica will get that paperwork to you and we will all make sure we sign it. Great. So we are now 10 minutes behind. Thank you.
Thank you all very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks. Okay. Good luck.
Good night.
So
Night.
Thanks, Chris.
2.2. Request to amend an order of conditions, DEP 308669, TWB 2022121. The applicant is Joan Wackowitz on behalf of Squanicook Greenways. Location is 80 Main Street, and the project is, the applicant is requesting to amend a previously approved order of conditions. The proposed amendment would be for an infiltration trench, the addition of a coarse stone on the trail, and to improve existing canoe launch with crushed stone and riprap. Thank you for your patience.
And Madam Chair, I would like to mention that this was all discussed and shown to us at the site walk.
Yes.
And
Sidewalk.
Madam Chair, I will be abstaining from this.
Yes, thank you. Okay, great.
And I have the proof of mailing.
Oh, thank you. Perfect.
Thanks, Joan.
We'll take the checks. Yep.
So we also have Bill Rideout. So
Hi, Bill.
I'm clerk and Bill is treasurer of Squanicook Greenway.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you very much. Oh. Okay. So Jim Jim and or Ann, would you like to ask any questions about this project? Do you have
Is this
any
an is this an improvement on something that's already been approved for the trail, the rail trail?
Yes, it's an amendment.
Okay.
Would be for an infiltration trench, the addition,
Yeah.
of course, stone on the trail, and to improve the existing canoe launch.
Yeah. Well, that would be a
With
safety
fresh-
standard also.
Yeah.
So I think that what I'm reading for a proposal without having any drawings in front of me would be definitely, I'm in favor of that.
As would I be in favor of that.
So can you speak about it? Even though- Okay, all right.
I'll add to it if we need to.
Okay. All right, we don't have any drawings, but Joan, do you want to offer? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was, and we saw it. I
We saw it. It is yeah.
that we vote.
Okay.
They're all here. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so can I get a motion to approve the request to amend the order of conditions for DEP 308-669 TWB 2022-121?
So moved. So moved.
And
I second.
okay. Jim LaQueer, are you in favor?
Yes.
Ann LaQueer, are you in favor?
Yes.
Joan Savoy, are you in favor?
Yes.
And Jennifer Eaton, yes, in favor. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 yeses and 1 abstain. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Also, because we need the wet signatures, I think we need a separate vote that I or Jessica can sign on behalf of the LaQueers, correct? On the paperwork?
That's
I'll
correct.
make them decide for us.
Okay, I don't know. Okay.
Okay.
I second that motion.
Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
Yep.
Are we going to vote on that, or they just say?
Do we have to vote on them?
I don't think so. They gave the permission.
I thought we didn't, as long as we had a quorum of signatures,
Okay.
we didn't need to. Matt, I thought if we had a quorum of physical people actually in the state doing the signing, that we didn't need to do that.
Well, because James is abstaining and only you two would be able to come in to sign, that's not a quorum, I think, right?
They're going to sign on.
Correct.
Thank you.
All right, great. So we'll be able to get that to you. And now we will, okay, great. So can I get a motion to close the hearing?
Motion to close the hearing on DEP 308-669 TWB 2022-121.
Seconded.
Okay. Joan Savoy, are you in favor?
Yes.
Jim LaQueer, are you in favor?
Yes.
Ann LaQueer, are you in favor?
Yes.
And Jennifer Eaton, yes, in favor. So 4 in favor, and James has abstained. Okay, great. Thank you. Good luck.
Have fun in the mud.
Okay, so work session. 3.1 TWB 2022-120, 46 Emory Road, request for determination of applicability for the removal of trees immediately adjacent to both the pond and surrounding wetlands. Applicant has requested a continuation. So can I get a motion to continue, please?
My motion to continue TWB 2022-120.
Second.
Okay. James Gates, are you in favor?
Yes.
Ann LaQueer, are you in favor?
Yes.
Jim LaQueer, are you in favor?
Yes.
Joan Savoy, are you in favor?
Yes.
Jennifer Eaton, yes, in favor. So unanimous. 3.2, mandatory referral notice from ZBA regarding 169 Wallace Hill Road.
Madam Chair, I have no comments.
No comments. Do you have any comments?
No.
Jim and Ann, it's an in-law apartment situation.
Have you reviewed the referral notice?
It was in the Dropbox.
I have a hard time getting into the Dropbox. It just could be where I am or my signals are.
Okay.
What kind of problems are you having in? I can maybe try to.
Sometimes I'm not able to open it.
Okay. We can talk after the meeting. Maybe we can email or hop on a call, and I can maybe try to walk you through it as well.
Okay.
If that's okay.
So the commission does not have any comments right now. Okay, great.
Which is an acceptable comment.
Okay. We'll jump down to 3.4. 3.4. Decide on a nominee for Open Space Committee.
Mike was really hoping we had someone for him today, because you need someone from the Conservation Committee.
We do. We certainly do.
Yeah, well, Colby's not on the committee yet.
Nope. It does. You don't have to be. You don't have to be.
Oh yeah. Well, why don't we speak with Colby and ask him what he thinks about that?
Well, we might have to explain it to him if he isn't familiar with it today.
I asked.
What does that mean?
I asked. It would be you would be representing the Conservation Commission for open space plan that.
So every 7 years they have to re-up the open space and recreation plan for town. The last one was really comprehensive, so it's just minor tweaking they have to do. I'm an at-large member representing TASA, the soccer league in town, and I don't think it's a huge time commitment.
Yeah, James, the nuts and bolts of it. It's one meeting a month, right?
I think.
Mike said it's one meeting a month for, I think, the rest of the year until December.
The goal is to have it done by the 31st of December.
And it's not like you're an island. We can help you with it if you have questions, anything like that. Not to put a lot of pressure on you or anything.
I'd love to hear this, Senator.
No, you don't have to.
No, you don't have to. You're just our representative. So if you attend a meeting and an issue comes up and you have to bring it to us, that's basically what it is. You don't have to. Can you think of anything else that would be?
I don't know much more than that.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a huge thing.
I don't.
Matt knows more.
I don't think this is fair. Personally, I don't think it's fair to. Colby's not even on the commission yet to throw this at him. I think he should be.
We're not throwing it at him. We're throwing it out there.
Yeah, I think it's just in the ether. I think. Could you think about it for us, please?
Just mull it over. Yeah. That's all. You can mull it.
You could come into the office and talk to Mike too, and he would give you the whole runaround if you're ever interested in doing that.
When are the meetings scheduled?
No idea.
That would be
when they're scheduled. Yeah.
Mike question.
I think what was Mike saying? It was what, once a month? Was he saying?
Once a month.
Yeah, but we don't know when and what day.
I don't know what day.
Time.
Yeah.
How long? So that would make a difference.
If you want to mull it over, you can ask Mike Crowley, land use coordinator, and make sure you know exactly what the time commitment is, because one thing you don't want to do is overcommit.
Yeah, it's a volunteer thing, so if you don't show up, they're not going to kick you off.
Unless there's anybody else. Does anybody else want to challenge? Do we have anybody else who really wants to be?
I can do that. So.
I don't live in town, so I can't.
Nice.
I would.
You got one. Fish on the hook. Perfect.
Jolly good fellow.
Nice. Well, that brings us to 3.5. Vote on volunteer response form submitted by Colby Streeter. Jim and Ann, our last meeting, we met Colby. He has filled out a volunteer response form. Have you had a chance to take a look at his volunteer response form?
No, that's probably in the
Dropbox.
yeah. in the Dropbox.
We're calling it a Dropbox, not the Dropbox. No, stop. It's a Dropbox. It's a Drop.
Submitted a volunteer response form, and he's a resident, an arborist. He has a degree in forestry.
I did see it. Yes, I did. Yes, he sounded, it sounded very good to me. Sounded like he'd be a very good candidate.
Yes, so this is Colby. Colby, that's Jim and Ann.
Hello.
Hi there.
Okay, great. So do I have...
So he did attend the last meeting for the most part, and because I know Jim's going to say
Right. And
probably should sit through a couple.
And
he showed up
so
tonight.
this is the second meeting.
So-
We didn't scare him off last time.
Congratulations.
Hi.
Okay, so do I get a
Motion to approve.
motion to approve the volunteer response form submitted by Colby Streeter? We have a motion to approve?
I motion to recommend his appointment to the Conservation Commission.
Great.
Great.
Second.
Okay, great. Jim LaQueer, are you in favor?
Yes.
Ann LaQueer, are you in favor?
Yes.
James Gates, are you in favor?
Yes.
Joan Savoy, are you in favor? And Jennifer Eaton, yes, in favor. So we will send this to the BOS. It'll be on their agenda for the next meeting. And
Which
good
is
luck getting
Tuesday.
appointed.
Is there anything I can elaborate on as far as experience goes?
No, you gave us a
Yeah, you did it last time.
last time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
So that next meeting's Tuesday night, Colby, so they'll vote whether or not they'll be appointing you on Tuesday night, the BOS. Yeah,
And that's
thank
6.
you. At 6 p.m.
In this room.
That's right, at this room, 6 p.m. they meet. I mean, you wouldn't necessarily have to attend.
Right. Okay. For correspondence, THRT conservation restriction has been successfully executed and recorded. Yes, very exciting. We wish them the best over at Campbell Farm. Okay, now we have 5.0, 5.1 Earth Day discussion. Let's talk about Earth Day.
Oh, I like your idea of getting a dunk tank.
Oh, I was kidding.
I know you were.
But I ask you to volunteer for
Are we
that.
allowed to have dunk tanks?
I don't think so. I think there's
Liability, right, or something?
yeah.
Plus, it could be really cold and rainy.
That's true.
No, I think any participation in Earth Day would be focused on educating the public in invasive species, beneficial plantings, how the wetlands benefit us and our drinking water. Okay.
If I may.
Yes, Anne.
It would be nice to include children, seeing how usually there's a lot of children that go to Earth Day. So it would be nice to do some type of explaining or hands-on with a child. Maybe get a few packets of seeds and some little cups where they could plant a flower.
Excellent idea.
That's a really good idea.
That's an excellent idea.
I had a town well guessing game last time too. I could read, where they had to guess and they picked up the thing and see all that. I could repurpose that. But I think all of the things we've talked about this year, we could have for the adults. We could have handouts, and maybe we could rope in some more volunteers for the town. Any committee would be great.
And that's a good idea.
But that's a great idea, and the kids would love that. So we could even just put the dirt out with a trowel, and they could fill up their own little things.
Exactly.
Really fun.
It could be a vegetable plant, a flower seed, whatever.
Sure. Yep.
Right. Something that a child would enjoy watching grow.
Okay. So 5.2 ACEC regulations discussion. The ACEC regulations have been located and uploaded to the Dropbox. Has anybody had a chance to read through them?
I have not yet.
I have not digested all of them, so
So let's just table it to the.
can I
To it, please.
Oh, Joan. Yeah.
So I spoke with the ACEC guru at the Department of Conservation and Recreation, and the town did vote. You have to vote to be in the ACEC, and we voted in 2002. And as far as we can tell, our regulations don't much reflect that we're in an ACEC. So we're hoping that we can all study those regs and get a handle on them and make some recommendations to enter ACEC language into some of our regs. Now, Nancy Putnam at the DCR, the Department of Conservation and Recreation, would like to come and give us, do an outreach program for the Conservation Commission. So I think one of them, when we see an agenda, Madam Chair, coming up that doesn't look too, next we have an executive session next meeting.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so one of these meetings we'll ask her to come and join us on Zoom, and she said she could just give us the basic outreach program. I do recommend those documents. The one that's very interesting is the one that has the picture of the barn on it. So I've learned a lot, and there aren't a lot of ACE towns in the state that have voted to be part of the ACEC, and I believe there were 185 townsfolk that voted to join back in 2002. So that's our goal, to work toward incorporating some of those concerns into our regs.
Okay, great. So we will table this discussion.
Well, but he hasn't asked.
I know.
Right. So.
He's over.
Okay. John, I don't know if you want to recognize Jeff. Mr. Johnson. Do you want to recognize him?
Nobody else on hand.
Well, but he's
Mr. Jackson, do you want to make a comment? You're muted,
sir.
Okay. No,
Hi.
I'm just part of the Squanicook Greenways, and I had a little trouble navigating to get on the meeting, so that's my fault. I thought it was around 7.
It passed.
It passed. Oh, you did?
We voted to amend the order of conditions. So yes, it passed.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah, we wish
Thank you
the
very
best
much.
luck.
And Madam Chair, Cindy has her hand up.
Is-
All right,
is
thank
that-
you.
No,
Oh, that's us. Okay.
Yep. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thanks, Ray.
Okay, so that discussion will bring us to 6.0, which is items for discussion at next meeting. So we can have that ACEC discussion. And
We won't be having an ACEC discussion if Nancy Putnam's not with us.
okay, so discussion
I'll be reviewing that stuff.
discussion for ACEC pending coordinating time with Nancy Putnam. Okay, great.
So, Matt, I guess you're going to have to follow along to see if Colby's appointed on Tuesday, because if he is, you'll want to share the Google Drive folder with him.
Right.
After that.
That's his upcoming Tuesday? You're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
I'll be at the meeting. Colby, your email address was on your
Yes, it is. We have it.
form, right? Yeah.
We have it. Okay, great. So 7.0, next meeting, Wednesday, March 23rd, 2022, 7 p.m., BOS Chambers, second floor. This meeting will also be held by a virtual Zoom remote in accordance with COVID-19 safe meeting guidelines. Okay, the time is 8:02. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
I motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Or, I don't know my watch. My eyes will
I
pass.
second.
Okay. Jim LaQueer, are you in favor of adjournment?
Yes.
Ann LaQueer, are you in favor?
Yes.
James Gates, are you in favor?
Yes.
Joan Savoy, are you in favor?
Yes.
And Jennifer Eaton, yes, in favor of adjournment. So that is unanimous to adjourn 8:04 p.m. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you
Have a
all.
wonderful night.
Thank you.